Chapter 2. Scene 1. The Awakening. Asclepius's eyes fluttered open, the cool touch of mist clinging to his skin. He blinked, disoriented, as a boundless landscape of shifting fog came into focus. The ground beneath him was a patchwork of soft moss and gritty sand, uneven and alien. He inhaled deeply, the scent of wet earth and distant blossoms filling his lungs. As he exhaled, fragments of memory flashed through his mind. A ritual with the fates, a blinding light, and then nothing. Asclepius shook his head, trying to clear the fog from his thoughts as much as from his vision. Rising unsteadily to his feet, he took a tentative step forward. The soft ground barely whispered beneath his feet, the eerie silence broken only by the occasional rustle of unseen leaves and the faint echo of water dripping in the distance. A faint path revealed itself, lined with stones that emitted a soft, otherworldly glow. Asclepius followed it, his fingers trailing along luminescent plants that pulsed with light at his touch. The mist parted reluctantly, offering tantalizing glimpses of the strange landscape. As he walked, the fog thinned, revealing a magnificent tree at the center of a clearing. Its branches reached high into the misty sky, leaves shimmering with gold and silver light. Asclepius's breath caught in his throat, a mixture of awe and an inexplicable sense of belonging washing over him. Standing before the tree, Asclepius felt a stirring within, a call to action, a promise of discoveries yet to come. With a deep breath, he stepped closer, ready to embrace the journey that lay ahead. Scene 2. The luminescent forest. The golden glow of the tree faded behind Asclepius as he pressed on, the mist thickening once more. The soft squish of his footsteps barely disturbed the ethereal silence. As he walked, the landscape shifted subtly, the fog gradually thinning to reveal the outlines of a dense forest. Asclepius paused at the forest's edge, his eyes widening in wonder. Tall, slender trees stretched skyward, their trunks and branches emitting a soft, otherworldly radiance. Leaves shimmered in shades of emerald and sapphire, casting a gentle, ethereal light on the forest floor. The air was heavy with the scent of pine mingled with an unfamiliar, sweet fragrance. Asclepius inhaled deeply, feeling the forest's unique essence fill his lungs. As he ventured deeper, he became aware of the forest's subtle responses to his presence. The light around him shifted in intensity, brightening as curiosity filled him, and dimming as he paused in quiet introspection. Reaching out, Asclepius touched the smooth, warm bark of a nearby tree. The tree's glow intensified briefly, pulsing in response to his touch. He drew back, startled, then reached out again, marveling at the tree's reaction. This was no ordinary forest. It was alive, aware, responding to his very presence. As he continued his exploration, the sense of being watched grew stronger. Asclepius glanced around, half expecting to see something emerge from the mist. But there was only silence and the gentle glow of the trees. The forest felt like a realm apart from reality, a place where the boundaries of existence blurred and shifted like the mist itself. The path ahead disappeared into thickening fog, the forest growing denser and the glow brighter. Asclepius pressed on, drawn by an inexplicable urge to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the heart of this luminescent world. Scene 3. The desert of shifting sands. The luminescent forest abruptly gave way to a vast expanse of golden dunes. Asclepius blinked against the sudden brightness, shielding his eyes from the glare of an unseen sun. The air, once cool and damp, now shimmered with heat, carrying the faint taste of salt. Asclepius took a tentative step onto the sand, feeling it yield beneath his weight. With each movement, the dunes seemed to ripple and shift, as if the very ground was alive. He pressed on, his muscles straining against the constantly moving terrain. As he trudged through the desert, Asclepius noticed a peculiar phenomenon. The dunes appeared to react to his presence, subtly reshaping themselves in response to his emotions. When curiosity filled him, gentle waves formed in the sand. When frustration mounted, the ground churned and swirled. The horizon shimmered, distorting distance and direction. Asclepius squinted, trying to discern a path or landmark, but the featureless expanse offered no guidance. The desert stretched endlessly, a challenge to his resolve and a mirror to his inner state. As the day wore on, the oppressive heat gave way to a penetrating chill. The sky deepened to indigo, stars emerging like scattered diamonds. In the distance, a faint glow caught Asclepius's eye. Drawn by the promise of respite, he quickened his pace. An oasis materialized from the darkness, a small haven of palm trees and still water. Asclepius knelt at the pool's edge, cupping the cool liquid in his hands and drinking deeply. As he sat back, the tranquil scene invited reflection. The desert had tested him, revealing both strength and vulnerability. It was a place of transformation, where the external landscape mirrored internal change. Scene 4, the reflective lake. Leaving the oasis behind, Asclepius continued his journey under the starry sky. The terrain gradually flattened, the sand becoming finer until it resembled powder. A rhythmic sound like gentle waves grew louder with each step. Asclepius crested a low rise and gasped. Before him stretched a vast lake, its surface a perfect mirror of the star-studded sky above. The boundary between water and sky was indiscernible, creating the illusion of an infinite, star-filled expanse. He approached the water's edge, the fine sand cool beneath his feet. Kneeling, Asclepius gazed into the lake. His reflection stared back, clear and sharp against the backdrop of stars. It was a moment of quiet introspection, the calm surface mirroring the stillness within him. Reaching out, he touched the water. Ripples spread from his fingertips, distorting his reflection and the stars above. As the ripples faded, the lake returned to its perfect, reflective state. The cycle of disturbance and calm resonated with Asclepius, a physical manifestation of the journey's ebbs and flows. As he sat by the shore, Asclepius felt a presence, not threatening, but watchful. He scanned the lake, half expecting to see someone across the water, but there was only stillness and stars. The feeling persisted, a subtle indication that the lake held secrets beyond its reflective surface. Walking along the shore, Asclepius considered the significance of the lake. Like a mirror of his own mind, it reflected both the known and unknown. It was a place of contemplation and revelation, reminding him of the duality of existence and the complexity of his own identity. As night deepened, Asclepius found a comfortable spot on the cool sand. He lay down, gazing at the star sky above and its perfect reflection below. As he drifted off to sleep, he felt a sense of contentment, a quiet satisfaction in the journey so far. The lake, with its serene beauty and perfect reflection, had offered a moment of peace and clarity in a world of uncertainty. Scene 5, the Forest of Echoes. Asclepius awoke to the soft glow of dawn, the lake's surface shimmering with golden light. Refreshed, he set out once more, the landscape gradually shifting around him. The smooth sand gave way to rugged terrain, dotted with rocks and sparse vegetation. The air grew cooler, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. Soon, he found himself at the edge of a dense forest. This was the Forest of Echoes, renowned for its unique acoustic properties. As Asclepius stepped between the towering trees, he noticed how each sound, the rustle of leaves, the crunch of twigs underfoot, was mirrored by a faint, delayed repetition. Intrigued, Asclepius began to experiment. He clapped his hands, listening as the sound echoed back, slightly distorted but unmistakably his own. The forest seemed alive, amplifying and returning every noise he made. It was both comforting and unsettling, a reminder that he was not alone in this vast, ancient place. As he ventured deeper, the echoes grew more complex. The air vibrated with the sound of his movements, transformed into a haunting melody. Asclepius felt a shiver run down his spine, the resonance penetrating to his very bones. In a small clearing, Asclepius discovered a circle of stones surrounding an ancient oak. Here, the echoes were different, softer, more harmonious. He placed his hand on the oak's rough bark, feeling its warmth and subtle energy. Closing his eyes, he listened to the gentle, melodic echoes that surrounded him. The sounds formed a pattern, a rhythm that seemed to pulse with the forest's heartbeat. Asclepius focused, trying to decipher their meaning. The echoes whispered of the forest's history, its ancient wisdom, and the countless lives that had passed through its shadowed paths. It was a story told in sound, a tapestry of memories woven into the very fabric of the forest. As he stood there, hands still resting on the oak, Asclepius realized that the echoes were more than just reflections of the past. They were a dialogue, a conversation between the forest and its inhabitants. The Forest of Echoes was alive, aware, responding to those who walked its paths. With a sense of reverence and newfound understanding, Asclepius continued his journey through the forest. The echoes followed him, a constant reminder of the connection between past and present, between himself and the living world around him. Scene 6. The Mysterious Ruins. Emerging from the forest of echoes, Asclepius found himself in a landscape that grew increasingly rugged and ancient. The ground beneath his feet was hard and uneven, scattered with stones and fragments of forgotten structures. The air carried a scent of dust and decay, hinting at secrets long buried. As he crested a rise, Asclepius is caught in his throat. Before him sprawled the remains of an ancient city, its ruins stretching across the landscape like the bones of a great beast. Crumbling columns and collapsed walls stood as silent sentinels, testaments to a civilization long gone. Asclepius approached the ruins with a mix of awe and reverence. The place felt sacred, a repository of countless stories and lost knowledge. He wandered through the crumbling streets, his footsteps echoing in the silence. Each corner revealed more of the city's lost grandeur, hinting at the lives once lived within these walls. At the heart of the ruins, he discovered a large circular plaza. In its center stood a towering structure, partially intact and adorned with faded carvings and symbols. Drawn by an inexplicable pull, Asclepius entered the building. Inside, a vast hall stretched before him, lined with broken statues and empty alcoves. The walls were covered in intricate carvings depicting gods, heroes, and legendary battles. Asclepius felt the weight of history pressing down on him, a tangible presence that watched from the shadows. At the far end of the hall, a large, ornate doorway beckoned. Asclepius stepped through, finding himself in a smaller, circular chamber. A pedestal stood at its center, upon which rested an ancient artifact, a beautifully crafted staff adorned with symbols and jewels. As Asclepius approached the pedestal, the staff seemed to pulse with a soft, inner light. He reached out, feeling the warmth of its energy radiating towards him. With a steady hand, he lifted the staff, a surge of power coursing through him as he did so. The room brightened, the symbols on the staff glowing with an inner light. Asclepius felt a profound sense of purpose settle over him. The ruins had revealed their secret, offering a connection to the ancient past and a key to the future. With the staff in hand, he left the chamber, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Scene 7. The Shifting Sands. Leaving the mysterious ruins behind, Asclepius stepped into a vast desert of golden dunes. The landscape was in constant flux, sand shifting and swirling with every step. The air shimmered with heat, carrying the faint scent of salt and something more ethereal. As Asclepius ventured deeper into the desert, he noticed a peculiar phenomenon. The sands around him began to move in response to his presence, mirroring his thoughts and emotions. When curiosity filled him, the dunes formed gentle waves. When uncertainty crept in, the ground churned restlessly. The sun beat down mercilessly, sapping Asclepius's strength. Yet he pressed on, driven by a desire to understand the nature of his influence on this strange environment. The desert became a canvas for his inner journey, a physical manifestation of his struggles and growth. As twilight approached, Asclepius spotted a distant figure shimmering on the horizon. Cautiously, he made his way towards it. As he drew closer, the figure solidified, a tall, robed individual standing amidst the dunes. "Welcome, Asclepius," the figure said, their voice calm and resonant. "You have come far and your journey has just begun." The figure introduced themselves as a guardian of the desert, a keeper of its secrets. They spoke of the desert's nature, how it mirrored the souls of those who traversed it. Asclepius listened intently, understanding dawning as the guardian's words resonated with his experiences. As night fell, the guardian faded away, leaving Asclepius with a final piece of wisdom. Remember, the desert is a place of reflection and transformation. Embrace the journey, and you will find the answers you seek. Asclepius continued on, the shifting sands a constant reminder of the changes within himself. The staff in his hand hummed softly, a comforting presence as he faced the challenges of the desert night. Scene 8. The Oasis of Reflection. As Asclepius trudged through the cooling sands of the night desert, a faint glow on the horizon caught his eye. Drawn by curiosity and the need for respite, he quickened his pace. The glow resolved into an oasis, a lush island of greenery amidst the vast expanse of sand. At the oasis's center lay a small, crystal-clear pool, its surface perfectly still and reflective. Palm trees swayed gently in the night breeze, their leaves whispering secrets to the stars. Asclepius knelt by the water's edge, his reflection sharp and clear in the moonlit pool. As he gazed into the water, Asclepius saw more than just his physical form. The pool seemed to reflect the essence of his journey, his growth, his challenges, his moments of doubt and triumph. It was a mirror not just of the present, but of all that had led him to this moment. Asclepius reached out, touching the water's surface. Ripples spread outward, distorting his reflection. As the water stilled, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. At the far end of the pool, partially hidden among the reeds, was a small, intricately carved box. Curious, he retrieved the box. Its surface was adorned with familiar symbols, echoing those he had seen in the ruins. Inside, nestled on a bed of soft cloth, lay a small vial filled with a shimmering liquid. The vial seemed to glow with an inner light, its contents swirling with iridescent colors. Asclepius carefully closed the box, sensing its importance but unsure of its purpose. He tucked it safely into his satchel, feeling a sense of anticipation. The oasis had offered more than just rest. It had presented a new mystery, a new thread in the tapestry of his journey. As the night deepened, Asclepius lay back on the cool sand, gazing up at the star-filled sky. The oasis had been a place of reflection and revelation, a moment of calm before the next stage of his journey. With the staff by his side and the mysterious box in his possession, Asclepius drifted off to sleep, ready to face whatever challenges the dawn might bring. Scene 9, The Sands of Revelation. Asclepius awoke to the soft light of dawn, the oasis fading behind him as he continued his journey. The desert landscape began to change, the dunes giving way to larger, more structured mounds. The air carried a different scent now, a mix of minerals and something more ancient, almost metallic. Approaching the largest mound, Asclepius felt an inexplicable pull. The staff in his hand grew warm, vibrating gently. He reached out and touched the surface of the mound, and the ground shifted, revealing a narrow entrance. Warm light emanated from within, beckoning him forward. Inside, Asclepius found himself in a small, dimly lit chamber. The walls were lined with intricate carvings depicting ancient rituals and celestial phenomena. The air was cool and still, filled with the faint scent of incense and aged stone. In the center of the chamber stood a large stone altar. On it rested a series of objects, each carefully arranged. Among them, Asclepius spotted another intricately carved box, similar to the one he had found at the oasis. His heart quickened as he realized the significance of the discovery. Carefully, he picked up the box, feeling its weight in his hands. The carvings were similar to those on the first box, yet subtly different. Opening it, he found another crystal vial filled with shimmering liquid. The vial glowed softly, casting a faint light on his face. Asclepius studied the carvings on the walls, recognizing scenes that echoed the legends and myths he had studied. Yet there was a deeper layer of meaning that eluded him, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. As he contemplated the chamber and its contents, Asclepius felt a growing sense of clarity. The desert had been a crucible, testing his resolve and understanding. Now in this sacred space, he felt closer to grasping the true nature of his journey. The chamber began to hum with energy, the air vibrating with a subtle resonance. The vial's light grew brighter, casting a warm glow on the altar. Asclepius felt a surge of emotions, awe, determination, and a deep sense of purpose. With reverence, he placed the vial back in the box and secured it in his satchel alongside the first. The weight of his quest settled on his shoulders, but it was a burden he now felt ready to bear. The chamber had revealed another piece of the puzzle, bringing him one step closer to understanding the mysteries of the archive. As he left the chamber, Asclepius felt transformed. The sands of the desert had shifted not just around him, but within him. He emerged into the dawn light, ready to face the next stage of his journey with newfound wisdom and resolve. Scene 10, The Ephemeral Horizon. Asclepius stepped out of the ancient chamber into the cool desert air, the first rays of dawn painting the sky in hues of gold and pink. The landscape before him had transformed once again. the dunes giving way to a vast mirror-like expanse that stretched towards the horizon. The air hummed with an electric tension, a sense of anticipation that set his nerves on edge. He approached the edge of this new terrain cautiously. The surface was smooth and reflective, like a motionless sea of glass. Asclepius recognized it from the archive's legends, the Mirror Sea, a boundary between realms, a threshold marking the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Taking a deep breath, Asclepius stepped onto the Mirror Sea. The surface was cool and firm beneath his feet, yet there was an unsettling fluidity to it. With each step, ripples of energy spread outward, sending gentle waves through the air. The reflections around him shifted and changed, creating a surreal landscape of sky and sand. As he ventured further, the reflections began to reveal scenes from his past. Fleeting images of his childhood, moments of doubt and fear, challenges that had tested his resolve, all played out on the mirrored surface. The Mirror Sea was not just reflecting his physical form, but the very essence of his journey. Asclepius paused, his reflection gazing back at him from the glassy surface. In the mirrored depths, he saw not just who he was, but who he had become. A blend of strength, resilience, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. The Mirror Sea offered a moment of reckoning, a final confrontation with his inner self before facing what lay ahead. As the sun rose higher, the light reflecting off the Mirror Sea grew more intense. Asclepius felt a surge of energy, a newfound sense of purpose coursing through him. The horizon ahead shimmered with a golden light, beckoning him forward. The air around him vibrated with a subtle hum, resonating with the beating of his heart. There was an urgency now, a recognition that time was both ally and adversary. The Mirror Sea had given him a glimpse of what lay beyond, but it was up to Asclepius to shape his own destiny. As he neared the edge of the Mirror Sea, the golden light on the horizon grew brighter. The air was filled with the promise of a new day, the soft rustling of the wind carrying whispers of adventures yet to come. Stepping off the reflective surface onto solid ground, Asclepius felt a sense of completion. The journey through the desert had been a crucible, a place of reflection and growth. Now, as he stood at the threshold of a new beginning, he felt ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. The vast, open landscape before him was filled with endless possibilities. Asclepius took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the journey behind him and the anticipation of what was to come. The staff in his hand hummed with energy, the mysterious vials in his satchel a reminder of the secrets yet to be uncovered. With a final glance at the shimmering expanse of the Mirror Sea, Asclepius turned and walked forward. The light of the new day illuminated his path, guiding him towards the next chapter of his quest. Whatever lay beyond the ephemeral horizon, he was prepared to face it, not just as a seeker of knowledge, but as a transformed individual ready to shape the destiny of the archive and perhaps the world itself.